Come on, boys. What's that? That's a car that doesn't run. I love it. Alright. And we're back. Yeah. It is currently 9:15 on a Saturday night. I'm exhausted, but I never get time to do this stuff on the weekend. I always say that I'm going to do stuff, and then weekend comes around and it's always busy. So I think what I'm going to do tonight is I'll pull the wheels off, because I want to take them down the road to get the tyres pulled off eventually, so I can take them apart and just refresh them, because those centers are, oh, they got my knees are just they're like pitted. Yeah, it's not, I tried cleaning them, but plus whoever's before me owned them, they just try to tape around the bolts and that doesn't work. So, and I want to polish up the hardware and sort the lips out properly. That'll be easy, and then that gives me room to be able to do everything in the front end, check all the bolts. Once I pull the wheels off and set them aside, I think what tonight we'll do is we'll try and tackle the steering rack. I think it's pretty ambitious, but we'll give it a good crack, pull it out and set it aside, and then I can send it off to get rebuilt anyway, so at least it's not leaking. So yeah, first things first, let's get the wheels off, just have a squeeze. Now, it's probably easier to take the wheels off, or at least break the bolts before you get the car in the air, but I don't have a impact wrench or anything like that, so I'm just going to use a bit of momentum to hopefully crack these, just like that. Roll it back, and then yeah, I need to invest in some power tools, man. Just make life easier. Zap, zap, zap. But don't have that, so I'll quickly take all these off. But it's just a little trick you can do if you don't, if the car's in the air, or if you get a friend, get them to stand on the brake inside the car, and then the wheels won't move. But if you're like me and you're alone, just do that. So, took way longer than it should have, because I had to do everything manually, and everything was sort of, not seized, but just in place, because it hasn't been taken off in such a long time. Actually out of breath. But yeah, these things need a good refresh. As you can see, there's some overspray on them. The centers are just, I don't know if it's like, need to be sandblasted, and the lips just need a good polish. These need a polish, the hardware, and the inner barrels just need a good everything. So yeah, don't know what the previous owner were thinking. Try and paint them with, I don't even know what they used while the lips are still in, but some 3-piece wheels you can take the faces out, leaving the tyres on, because the plate sits, so you got the outer barrel and the inner barrel, and they sandwich in the middle, and sometimes the face sits over the top, and so it goes face, outer barrel, inner barrel, but these ones actually go outer barrel, the face sits in between, and then the inner barrel. So I actually have to take the tyres off and take these apart to be able to do anything with them, which is just another step. It's just another step, that's it. But yeah, gives you a good little look at the brakes on this car. Obviously the rotors haven't moved in a few years, that's fine. Take a wire wheel to it, or just brake really hard when it runs. But yeah, the R33 GDR sizing with a GTST caliper through GK Tech. I don't know if you can see in there. That's a bit dark, but there's a GK Tech like bracket that basically allows you to run the larger rotor. So you can run the larger brakes on a normal rotor, but you get about half the rotor sits inside the pad, so you get sort of, in my eyes, it'd be half clamp pressure, or half the pressure that you would if you just made it the GDR size rotor, which I think they're 324 millimeters. So it'll stop on a dime, which is awesome because it only weighs 1100 kilos. But yeah, back's more or less the same. As you can see, there's overspray on absolutely everything, but it's alright, you won't see it once the wheel's on. Yeah, guess the next thing to do would be to jump under. Trying to suck myself up for this, and have a look at the steering rack, because as you can see, when the car was moved forward, it was just leaking. Now I've got it in a different position. I might pop the bonnet and have a look through the top and just see if I can see any leaks from the top, which there probably is going to be, but I need to take it out to get it rebuilt anyway, so might as well do it now while it's not driving. Alright, let's get some tools and get under there. So there seems to be some seepage just around everything on this pump, which is awesome. Also that paint the car hasn't even run, it's just decided to fail, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah, there just seems to be seepage around everything. Every little bit of line has something leaking and or dripping, so it's just due for an overhaul, I think. I'm gonna jump under. Yeah. It'd be awesome to get the... Is that the drain? Is it getting dripped on by the power steering, or is it actually leaking? Oh, that turbo drain sits way too close to... Yeah, that's power steering fluid on it. That's cool. Just couldn't start a fire or anything. It's awesome. This is gonna be fun. So it actually looks like it's not coming out of the rack, it's coming out of that red hose there. I don't know if it's tight enough, but it's coming straight out of the reservoir. It seems to be dropping down, dropping onto that, running all the way down to here and dripping from there. So I think I might be alright. The rack is just sort of gross, but it's not actually coming out of the rack, which is huge. It means I don't have to pull the rack right now. I'll do it eventually, but if I don't have to do it right now and I can get away with it for now, that's a big bonus. So I'm gonna get a rag and just wipe everything down, tighten that up, and run the steering left to right a couple of times. Let's get out of here. Oh yeah. Run the steering left to right a couple of times and see if it drips again, and if it doesn't, mint. Means we don't have to pull the steering rack. Yet. I mean, I'm still gonna do it down the line, but just wanna get everything buttoned up so it's not leaking right now, and then, yeah, once the car's driving, then I can start doing bit by bit. So I just wanna get it all into the motions of being complete. So just wipe everything down, tighten that up, and then we'll run the steering left to right and see if that fixes it. Hopefully it does, that'd be huge. Problem is, the hose is all slippery from obviously being covered in fluid, so hopefully I can get that tight enough. Alright, let's go flat plate and tighten that up. She was a little loose. well, got 1.5 turns out of it, so let's jump under and wipe everything down there, and then I'll do the steering. Alright, everything's clean and tight. So theoretically, if I don't hit the door or anything, do that a couple of times. Oh, it's a bit to the left, sorry, to the right. That looks pretty straight to me. We shouldn't have any leaks. Fingers crossed. No, I think we're good. There's nothing on the ground. I think that was as simple as just tighten up that hose clamp, which is bloody huge. It's massive actually. That's mint. That's really good. Oh, that was an easy fix. I'd sort of had that planned for tonight, so let's do something else really quickly, eh? Haha, we got the front ones on, but these wheels need hub setups. Oh yeah. Can't get more JDM than this. It's straight out up garage. Nice. Easy. Give them a bit of a tap with a rubber mallet just to seat them a bit. But if you don't run those, if anyone doesn't know what those are, they're hub-centric rings. So if you've got wheels that I'll show you in a tick, just so I don't forget them. They won't just seat up all the way back to the back of the hub, but see if we can turn this wheel over. So this part in here is slightly bigger than what's on the S13, or I should say R33 now. Same deal. So what you do is, if you don't have that in, you'll get vibrations through your steering wheel. You probably think that it's not balanced or it's bent, but it's actually the whole hub is shaking and moving around. So all you do is you get these rings. I think these are 3 to 5 millimeter hub-centric rings, I believe. I got them in Japan last time I was there. And you pop them on over the hub. And then when you put the wheel on, it now fits and is centric. So you don't get any of that wobble as you're driving down the road, which is sweet. That was easy. Give me 5. I'm gonna try and figure out what else we can do. Because ideally, if I had a time machine, or had any sorts of stuff like that, I'm not gonna do this. I don't have a tire iron, I don't have anything, otherwise I'll just give it a crack at home. But don't have any of that, which is a bit of a bummer. I mean, we could sort of stuff. The whole plan was to pull the steering rack out, but hey, look, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Means I don't have to pull a steering rack out. Means I don't have to pull a steering rack out, which is awesome. Actually, let's see if I've got any. Well, my awesome little fitting. Now look, there's a 120. Could probably make that work. Do the back here. Let's see if I've got another one in here. My awesome trim pieces that I'm hoping to get put on soon. Once I'm fully set up in here and I've got like a workbench where all this is, my life will be a lot more in order. right now it looks just a bit like a mess, because it is. Even this has got overspray on it. I don't even know how that got overspray on it. What have we got in the box of goodies? It's got baggies. They look like studs. Injector spacers, new O-rings, adapters, clamps. I've only got the one. Unless, what's that? Oh, that looks like one. Whoops. Not quite. Not quite. I can probably make it work though. If I don't have to buy another fitting, that would be awesome. Looks like it's just over a 90. The other one's just a bit more than a 120. Well, let me take the wing off and we'll open the boot. We'll see if we can make this work so we can simplify the back there. Yeah, I could make that work. Run that over like that. Run that down like that. I reckon we could do this. Let's give it a crack. Might have to swap these around, but I might be able to make that work like it is. Who knows? Alright, let's get the tools up here and get stuck into this. This is something to do. It's doing my head in looking at how crazy that looks. Alright. Alright, so I flicked on this fitting. This one is meant to go on the left side, so they're a bit crossed up, but that's fine. It's, for that one there, it's a bit too angled. So if I take this one off, put it on that one, and then run it to there, should be fine. And then I can go this one here, take this one and put it on where this one is. Should all work and it should be simple. A lot of leftover fittings and hose left over. I think I'm getting a bit faded of the fumes, but that's fine. It's Saturday. Cool. Yeah, just thought I'd update as to why. Just messing around. Also, if you're working on aluminium, it's sharp, even with the tools. And the fittings, they'll slice through you like butter. I've done my fingers twice now, so it's a bit of a pain. But I'll swap those fittings over, and hopefully should just simplify that whole lot. And then I might have some spacers, and then we could probably just sit this on top and pretty it all up, just to make it look a little more together, I guess. All right, I'll set the camera back down and we'll keep going. Cool, got them on, they're nice and tight. Takes a while, but they're not going to feel there to the point where you can yank on this fitting and this doesn't slip. Plus, like I said in previous videos, I think I had close to 85 or 90 psi through this whole system, so if it's going to leak anywhere, it'll leak there, and at least I'll be able to catch it. So it'll be the first thing I do once I start it up, is I'll just check around these fittings, but It's exactly the same thing that what we did last time, but just not in a vise. But I got them as tight as it'll go with the AN fittings, the AN wrenches I should say. So yeah, I don't see it leaking any fuel, but I'll just check the ones that are brazed to the top of the fuel hat here. Just make sure they're all tight, whatnot, and then yeah, I'll screw them all down. Whew. Well, that's all simplified. Got rid of, I don't know if that one was on there. Got rid of all that, all of these fittings, all that jazz. So it's just now feed and return, or vice versa, I can't remember. But they're all simplified. I can pull out that relay now, because that was obviously for the old external fuel pump setup. Now you get some bolts that sit in here, and I'll just get some small aluminium tubing and just sit it up so I can get that sit up there like that, give or take. Probably need to be about 30 centimeters long, but if not, is what it is. I don't mind. But it'd be kind of cool to have it there, because obviously it just hides it a little bit when you pop the trunk. Or boot, I should say, because I'm Australian, I'm not American. Yeah, I think I need to get some fresh air. Getting lightheaded from standing over a fuel tank with open fuel lines for so long. Yeah, I guess that'll pretty much do it for tonight. It is almost 11 o'clock. By the time I pack this up, move the car in, I'm still going to edit the video, so I'll probably, yeah, call it here, just because I'm sort of constrained on time. And then, hopefully, next video I do, I'll have the tyres off this thing, because I can do that off camera, and then we can get to rebuilding those, which is, I've never rebuilt the wheel before, so hopefully they're siliconed on the inside of the barrel and not welded, otherwise I'm going to drop them to a wheel shop. Maybe that's why they painted them, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Yeah, easy. That'll do for tonight. Sweet little surprise, I guess. Don't need to pull the rack out just yet. I can get away with just tightening the fitting on the hose, which is awesome. We simplified the setup in the rear, pulled the wheels off so I can get the tyres pulled off them, and then we can start rebuilding the wheels. Nice. Alright. Like always, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, just gonna keep plugging away, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.